We're here at Otakon at the Walter E. Washington Convention Center here in Washington, D.C. Otakon is an anime convention that's been going on for over 20 years now. What is anime? What's a convention? Let's go find out.
We're at Otakon. We are here celebrating anime and everything that is Japanese culture. So anime is Japanese cartoons that have a wide genre of shows. It can range from like romance to action to like slice of life. And it's a lot of fun.
Manga is our culture. It's a way of being creative, showing a different light of Asian culture.
Here in America, comic books kind of hold this a little bit of a more childhood-based culture or idea, while in Japan, manga ranges to a lot of different genres. So not only do you have like your main shonen stuff, which is meant for like young teens, you'll have stuff that's more aimed towards adults, young adults, and it spans across different things. You'll have action, you'll have romance, you'll have everyday situations. So I think because of that, people have an easier time relating to manga, and that's why it seems to reach a wider audience these days.
You know, for a long time, Asian culture, we're known for like martial arts and karate, kung fu. So anime comes bring a different side of us. People are now getting to experience different type of cartoon, but it's not a cartoon, you know. People like to think manga is like a comic, but it's sort of like a comic, but it's really not, you know. You know, the pages are a little different as well, you know. The front page is in the back.
As with most U.S. events, conventions scaled back or closed at the start of 2020. When Otakon came back in 2021, it had decreased attendance. For 2022, however, that attendance blew up, increasing over 36% with more than 40,000 attendees. What is an anime con like in a post-COVID world with such a boom in interest from mainstream audiences? How are these events for attendees and vendors?
Last year was a little rough because, you know, it was just like at the end of the COVID stuff and people were kind of still wary about it. All the panels were a lot smaller, there were a lot less people. It was still fun. I still had a fun time supporting, and I want obviously the con to come back next year. So now that I'm seeing it now and it's a lot bigger and there's more stalls, I'm pretty happy.
Yeah, I'm really glad that they're requiring masks. This is like one of the last cons that require masks. It's one of the reasons that we chose to go to this one.
And they're really enforcing it, like, can't come in without a mask and it's good.
It gives us a chance to be ourselves and, you know, express how we feel about our characters that we've been watching for so long now.
Day one for me is usually just kind of walking around cosplay. Day two is when I do all my actual shopping and kind of have more fun. Because being able to not see out of one eye and having zero depth perception has been generally unenjoyable. But, you know, everything's been going great so far. This year's a lot better than last year.
When I go around looking at these cosplayers and looking at new fans towards manga or anime, you see a lot of confidence in people, you know. They're out here putting their best effort, dressing up as their favorite character.
There was a point in my life where I said, I really would like to look like a cartoon, and I started going to the gym.
Yep.
So it was definitely the interest in anime and fighting games that inspired me to start a lifestyle that was healthier.
They're gonna come together, and now it's more an accepting culture now. Everybody's loving, everybody's caring about each other, everybody respects one another, and that's something you really don't get outside of this, you know what I mean?
She got me started in cosplay, so...
It wasn't hard, I just told him he had to take his shirt off. That's about it.
And at the time, a girl was talking to me, so I said okay.
And now we've been married for 12 years, so there you go. It is literal
And
convention love story.
We come back every year. We met at Otakon in 2003.
Yes.
In Baltimore.
In Baltimore, yes. And then we got married in 2010.
10.
Yep.
Otakon.
At Otakon.
It's nice to take a break from everyday life and explore a world that kind of doesn't exist by dressing up as a character.
It's been here for over 20 years now, so it's like It never gets old.
Coming here, you meet like-minded people. It's really nice to just meet people that are into the same thing as you are.
It's really fun seeing everybody dress up, seeing all, again, old friends and new, and just, again, buying merch and, supporting small businesses too.
It's always great just to meet people that you can build relationships with. Like, for instance, my friend here, Keisha, I literally just met her today, and I feel like I've known her, for quite some time.
So you can bring the whole family here.
Just for the community and for the fun?
Yeah. We are all from different areas. They're both from Boston. I'm from the Miami area. So it's a way to see each other, but also make other friends. Just kind of have a really fun time.
And it's always good just to, meet new people and socialize and broaden your horizon and build connections, because that's really all it's really about.
Well, I'm a dad, and I liked anime as a kid. Growing up, I would watch Dragon Ball Z and stuff like that, and so now it's kind of the second generation that's into anime and that type of culture. I don't know, is it weird for you being here?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I feel at home. I feel like this is the one place that it's wow, these are my people.
This is my first time actually doing something like this, but it was really fun to make. That's the main thing for me. It's just really fun to make stuff. And then once you're done, you get to show it off to people,
It's been fun seeing old friends and making new friends, especially as someone who likes a lot of anime series from the late 80s, early 90s, and even older.
We're not dressed today, but we plan on dressing tomorrow in our gear. We like dressing up video game costumes and also some anime.
I think it's fun for the whole family. What would you guys say?
Yes. It's overwhelming, but it's fun too.
People gonna look at you saying, why can't you be an adult? But here's the thing, you are an adult. As long as you got your priorities in order, pay your bills and everything, who said you can't enjoy stuff like this?
We have jobs and a 401k and stuff like that, so relatively normal.
Retirement savings and stuff.
Yeah.
Currently looking to buy a house.
I love this place.
Yeah. Is it a little weird?
No,
But it is very fun, right?
it is.
I feel like it's growing ever since COVID has came back. Everybody started coming back from COVID. The sales has probably gone up because a lot of people are now getting more into anime. It's more accepting in a lot of different cultures now. And it's getting worldwide. And I feel like every year it's gonna get a little bigger and bigger and bigger.
Conventions are big business. The global anime market is worth over $25 billion. Events like this are just a little microcosm of that value. So we're going to talk to some people and see how much they're spending, how much they're making. Some people are probably spending too much.
I'm actually very happy and glad to say that sales are actually pretty good, if not better than before the pandemic.
With such a huge increase in attendance, there has to be a reason for the high demand and interest in anime and manga. Part of this can be attributed to the new interests and hobbies people picked up during the pandemic.
Immediately after we reopened, I would say that sales almost exploded. People were kind of, it's a little bit of a perfect storm. People were kind of held back for about a year from being able to shop. And not only that, there's a lot of timing on items that started coming in, and anime really exploded during that whole time period.
I feel like people had time to develop their interests and find ways to spend more money.
That mix of things kind of made our sales we've broken records. From years previous, it doesn't even come close, the numbers that we're hitting nowadays.
I think we're going to see a lot more people and a lot more time taken before picking out their product, because now stuff is starting to open back up, but we're going to see huge crowds.
You're at home, you're looking for something to do. Not only that, in the last maybe decade, anime and manga has kind of went from being a social like niche or kind of outcast type thing to being on a mainstream kind of subject matter. So I feel like it's more socially acceptable to like manga.
To a lot like bigger scale than before. You know, the attendants are flocking in from all over the country, and yeah, they're just willing to spend more.
Back when I was in school about like maybe 10 or 15 years ago, manga wasn't as big of a thing. People didn't accept it as much, maybe a little more ostracized in that sense. But in recent years, the kind of the mainstreamness of manga has made it more popular, not only just like amongst like maybe more kind of nerd culture type stuff, and more into like everyday, like regular kids. You'll see teenagers, maybe 10 years ago, the type of kids that wouldn't be really into manga or anime are really into it.
You know, they were stuck at home. They got nothing to do, so they developed new hobbies. So they ended up, you know, getting really passionate about some of them. It's definitely grown.
But what kind of money are they spending, and on what?
There's a lot more sales now than before COVID, because I guess everybody was, you know, locked up, they couldn't get out, and now everybody's coming out.
I try not to calculate how much I spend total, because if I did, I would probably throw up. It's a lot.
Sales are doing a lot better because it's like a splurge.
So back in 2020, 2021, manga was pretty much like a scarcity. You'd have to be like hard pressed to go finding it at like maybe 7 or several different bookstores. And that kind of demand is what left people looking and like constantly searching and buying. And we would tell people, look, you gotta buy this now, and it's not a sales pitch. More recently, it's actually been starting to ease up a little bit, and we're getting manga a little more readily, but the demand is still there.
In totality, it's like several hundred because of flights, hotels. Yeah. At the con, it's just food, really. Yeah. I don't buy like too much stuff unless I really love it.
Yeah. Food is important.
And as cosplayers, you don't want to buy that much when you're cosplaying because like it's just so much to hold. So
yeah, just buy food. Buy food.
And water.
And yeah,
deodorant.
Oh no, it is not cheap at all. I want to say that this table is really expensive. I always had to get 2 spots, so it was costly, but I feel like it's worth it.
Small businesses would be like people. There's a whole section called the Artist Alley where you can buy prints and like keychains and little knickknacks from like small artists you would find on like Etsy stores. So they usually make their own art and sell it. So it's always nice to come out, support them, support small businesses like that as well.
Well, I like to buy stuff, so I like to collect figures, manga, and meeting new people is also cool too, you know, seeing other people's works.
Well, in my younger days, I would spend a lot of money. In my older days, I guess, I don't spend too much unless if it's like for a cosplay related kind of project, I would say, but definitely a fair amount, mostly in food.
Yeah, mainly food. I do want to buy manga here.
I like to keep my budget low, like around $200-ish, so I don't buy like too much, but you know, I buy it kind of often, a couple times a month, but it's a fun hobby.
There are a lot of cosplayers here. That's kind of why a lot of people come here. Cosplay is basically just dressing up as your favorite fictional character. I want to interview some of them, but I think that every hunting show I've ever seen has taught me if you want to understand an animal and hunt an animal, you have to think like the animal, become the animal. Okay, that's better. Let's go to it. Why do you guys cosplay? What attracts you to cosplay and conventions?
I think it's just fun to be able to dress up as a character that I think is really neat.
There's certain characters that I want to bring to life.
It's really fun to just dress up as your favorite character.
If I make something that I feel is very high quality, it feels very rewarding, especially at conventions, and especially if you get like a good amount of like recognition.
And I have a lot of fun making the costumes and putting them together as well.
It's really fun making the costume and then dressing up and being a different character.
I've always thought it'd be like so cool to like dress up as a character that like you think is super neat. Just like that's really cool, you know, to like become someone else. But we are cosplaying from the anime My Dress Up Darling. It's basically about a cosplayer who cosplays from anime. So I'm a cosplayer cosplaying a cosplayer that's cosplaying from an anime. And the anime that I'm cosplaying from in the show, it's her name is Liz. And this is her boyfriend, basically.
Hi, I'm Gojo.
It makes people happy.
I love doing it. It's just really fun.
I just think it's super fun. It's a good way to express yourself. It makes me feel like I am the character, and it just kind of helps me escape from reality for a little bit.
So for me, it's a good opportunity for me to learn some new skills, some skills that I never would have tried out.
Definitely an artistic outlet. I enjoy the whole process of making all my cosplays. And it's just really fun to, hang out with a bunch of fans and, have to get excited over your costume.
It's been a great opportunity to meet some new friends. Like, I literally would have never met all of these fantastic people if I didn't start coming here and cosplaying.
It kind of surprises people. It's like you see something that was drawn and animated, and then to see people having a love and passion for it and seeing it like in actual, like real life.
I enjoy making cosplays. It's just fun to bring to life characters that you enjoy and you want to share their love with other fans.
Cosplaying, it's all different and everybody has a little spin on their cosplay, so it's never getting boring.
Just for fun. Yeah. I mean,
general suffering.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of fun to suffer in a way, but mostly just to enjoy the games more.
Yeah.
It just brings out a new meaning.
With how accessible cosplay has gone in the last few years, it can be anywhere from a couple weeks to maybe a couple months just trying to find that one detail.
It's kind of anything. You don't have to make your own costumes. You can make them or you can just order them anywhere.
I spent about 50 hours making this costume last year, and I actually just spent 8 hours last night redoing my entire wig.
Mine took about 2 weeks, and I'm all about doing everything on a budget. So the bird's actually made out of paper mache, so it costs no money.
I made most of mine. I got my wings commissioned, so I had somebody else. I paid them to use my materials and make them, but everything else I thrifted, the shirt, the pants, and made a back harness that connects through the actual cosplay.
Most of this was made by me, so the buku, everything else was made by me except for the staff. That was 3D printed commission for me.
I made this. This is all latex. So all the seams are glued together.
Hundreds?
Yeah. Yeah,
over
probably around.
1,000.
Yeah, probably 500 to 1,000.
Oh yeah, under 12 hours. It's kind of a last minute thing.
Probably around $700-800.
Probably around like $300, $350.
At least $700, at least.
Close to maybe $175, $200.
Less than $200. $250 on this. Most of this was the velvet.
Counting in my head, I think it's $400.
I really admire everyone's handiwork, but I bought.
Who say all hobbies are going to be cheap anyway?
$200-300 maybe?
This one is half made, half bought.
So I bought my costume and it was probably like $50, and then I made this and this was like $30, but a lot of effort.
I don't remember how much. I try to forget.
I'm really bad at keeping track of how much I spend, so I don't
Maybe it's better not to.
Yes, that's the way I'm going to think about it.
Other similar events around the country have been criticized for having minimal, if any, COVID precautions, some even resulting in international media coverage. Otakon is taking steps many other large events haven't, requiring masks and proof of vaccination to enter. With how packed this event is, do people feel safe?
Well, there's an obvious difference. Contact-wise, people are a little more wary. They may be a little bit more kind of hesitant to get close to each other. But you can see that there isn't like kind of a need. People do tend to gravitate towards each other.
I feel like, especially doing a con in DC, we have a lot of restrictions on a lot of things, and the securities are making sure everybody coming in with a vax card and making sure everybody's vaccinated. So yeah, I feel like this is a safe place to do something like this.
They have to have these little bands to show that they're vaccinated.
And I think in time, people will come close again.
There are still issues with COVID, and even like myself, fully vaccinated, I ended up with COVID 2 months ago after an event.
You know, especially for Otakon, I would say I feel pretty safe because of the strict mask policy.
I'm more comfortable now because at the beginning I was really freaked out, but since it's been all this time now, I could take the proper precautions. We do a lot of tap pay. A lot more people pay in card than in cash, and everybody knows to keep their masks on than in the beginning. So I feel a lot more confident now.
And I know that the cases, it's easier for chance of reinfection now. So that does make me a little nervous, but at the same time, like, we take precautions. We try to wipe down our stuff. We bring hand sanitizer with us to keep at the tables. And we just kind of try to keep ourselves, do our own best practices.
COVID's impact on these events can't be overstated. All things considered, was it worth the time, money, and risk to attend a big event?
And it's been so much fun, and it's so cool to see everyone's excitement when they look at your cosplay. So just like the overall vibe of cosplaying and the conventions is super cool.
It's nice to hang out with like-minded people who have the same interests in you and kind of can speak on what you like and give you some knowledge that you may not have had about your interests.
At the end of the day, that's all it goes down to. As long as you have a passion for it, nothing should go wrong. You might be broke at the end of the day because, again, this ain't cheap, but hey, who said all hobbies are going to be cheap anyway?
Yeah, I think it's just really great to be part of a community where everyone is so passionate and so excited about just bringing these loved characters to life. So it's really great to be a part of.
It's just a good experience and environment to come around. Everyone's they're not judgy. Everyone gets together, even if you never met them. You could be a different anime, it doesn't matter. They just still want to take your picture and hang out.
Oh my God. Oh yeah, it's so totally worth it. Yeah. I've been doing this for 10 years and I still keep coming back.
These events might seem odd to someone who's never been to one before, but as you can see, they mean a lot to a lot of people. They also make some people a lot of money. They also are probably a good way to burn a lot of money, but anyway. In the Walter E. Washington Convention Center in Washington, D.C. at Otakon, I'm Charles House with the Armstrong Williams Show.